So Phil, the drought has been a challenge for a lot of crops this year, but alfalfa has had some special challenges. Can you talk us through what this crop is dealing with this year?
Well, the problem that we've gotten into this year because of the extended drought and because of the relatively mild fall and the mild winter is that we've had damaging insect populations from cowpea aphids all the way to spotted alfalfa aphids and the normal alfalfa weevils. So the growers and applicators, they're used to dealing with the normal infestations of alfalfa weevil and even with aphid populations from time to time. But what we get into with these drought situations, these mild conditions, is we have a heavy egg lay of alfalfa weevil eggs back in October, November, and then the peak period of oviposition, which occurs in January and February. So we get a prolonged alfalfa weevil season. In addition to that, we have heavy cowpea aphid infestations that came in back in January, the end of January, first part of February.
Okay. Can we take a look at some of the damage that we're seeing in the crop right now?
And this is kind of typical of what we'll see from aphid damage, but you'll see the tattered leaves show us some signs of alfalfa weevil damage. But the shortened plant stature, as well as the stunted plant and the deadened plant material underneath the alfalfa, that's primarily from the stickiness and the feeding. And you can even see some of the old cast skins down in there. You probably can't pick it up with the camera, but that's the consequence of the feeding from aphids.
Okay. And then the new damage on top of that.
Yeah, and then the new damage on top. And it's continued in terms of the reduction in forage from alfalfa weevils. We've got the reduction in stem height and the contribution of that honeydew that's all over the plants that really makes it a poor quality product. Yeah.
So now, from a producer standpoint, I mean, the damage is probably done here. We've seen a lot of it across the state. What do they do now? I mean, how do they recover from this?
And that's a really good question, because what we really have to do now is make sure that we manage for the stand life. Okay? We're probably not going to do a great deal to save that first harvest. We're going to try to save it to some extent, but our biggest concern now is stand life, so stand longevity. And we'll get more stand loss if we try to continually manage these spotted alfalfa aphid populations with insecticides. So what I'm encouraging the growers to do at this point is, if your crop is looking pretty decent, like some of this is, go ahead and do a little bit earlier harvest, latter part of April, where we usually harvest the first part of May, and then consider a stubble treatment after you've gotten the hay off of the field.
Now, what kind of treatment would that be?
Okay, there we're talking about an insecticide.
Okay.
But if you go in with that route, and of course the purpose is to remove as much forage as possible and to provide an atmosphere where you don't have to worry about the forage kind of interfering with adequate control, because spotted alfalfa aphids tend to feed on the bottom of the plant and on the undersides of the plants.
Okay.
And so if we remove all that forage and all we have is stubble, we can go out there, make a decision as to whether we still have high populations, and then make a standard Lorsban, lanate, dimethoate type of treatment with high gallonage, going at a slow speed to make sure that we do a thorough job. This is going to be really critical in these drought conditions. Right. If we had been able to do more of that, I think initially, high gallonage, slow speeds, we probably would have done a better job of controlling some of the populations. But I'm not blaming anybody here, because in most years, in 20 out of 22 years, we'll do a great job with running our normal speeds and running the normal gallonage that we run to control alfalfa weevil and aphid problems on alfalfa. This is just an unusual year with this drought just continuing to create problems.
Right. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on things, and hopefully we'll rain to help with the situation.
That's what we need more than anything else, is a little rain.
All right, Phil, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Austin.